Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another urbex video. This one is from Hasard Cheratte, which is a well-known abandoned coal mine in Belgium. Many have been there before, and I had my first visit there once they started the demolition. In the meantime, the demolition has stopped, and they even started renovating this place. This video is from about 2019, when the demolition was almost over. They pretty much were wrapping things up. Um, well, as you can see in the video, they tried to lock it off by having the passageway blocked by a huge wall. Pity for them, they forgot to actually, keep this wall closed. So I got in quite easily, which was a big surprise for me. The goal of this video was to actually visit everywhere in the mine and get everything on recording, because I know once the renovations are done, a lot of the stuff people know of this mine will no longer be visible. It's not going to be renovated as a mine museum. It will have a small part that will be dedicated to the mine. Having said that, it's going to be a very small part. I believe they're going to make apartments out of it, or even offices. It's not going to be rebuilt in a very historical accurate way, sadly. So anyway, enjoy my little tour of the mine, Hasard Cheratte, in Belgium. Everybody knows where this is, probably. Oh well. Now this is the older original wing of the mine. This was there when the mine was first constructed. What I find interesting about this wing, that it has dressing rooms, but a lot more confined and a lot more privacy. There is a lot more privacy here. I do wonder if these were dressing rooms for maybe more important people, the overman, the bosses. The offices, or I assume that were offices on the other side, probably enhanced this idea. You can see minecart tracks running through the main hall, but this is a very odd place. I can't really put my finger on it. The upper floor here also has dressing rooms, but these are more similar and like the common ones we will see later in the video. So I could be wrong. Maybe this is just for the average worker, but just happens to be a bit more privacy proof, so to speak. It looks like we're already starting to either demolish this part of the mine or renovate it, because they were taking away all the tiles. Now, seeing how carefully they are taking them off, I am wondering if they're reusing these tiles somewhere for renovations, or trying to sell them, or maybe someone is literally stealing the tiles of the mine, which would be a very interesting choice of a souvenir, but well, you'll never know. We are now entering the actual mine shaft. As you can see, straight in front of us is the lift. The lift is still above ground in this mine, and it has been kept up with what looks like two iron bars. This lift has the place for two mine carts, as it seems, and it does this on two levels. The lift actually has an upper and a lower level. I assume that also the workers went down here in the very beginning, though I must say it must not be very comfortable, because these mineshaft lifts are very low. The stairs to go up the mineshaft aren't in the best shape. They are quite rusty, and some places even broke through thanks to all the water and the rain coming in from the roof and from the few windows this mineshaft has. Also, what's interesting about this mineshaft, and quite rare, is that you can actually enter the mine, well, from ground level. Down below here, you will see it later in the video, you can actually enter the mine on multiple places without going down the mine shaft itself. Now, I'm not sure if these halls will also connect all the way down. They might not. But it is very rare to have a mine shaft actually enter up from ground level in Europe, mind you. You can clearly see that the floor is a bit sketchy as I carefully walk up the stairs towards the top of mine shaft number 1. This shaft was made around 1907, I believe. They started digging around 1890, very early on. It is built in a Russian style. I need to check the name. To any Russian out there, if I butcher the name like I butcher my English, I'm sorry. Anyway, this is the only Malakoff mine tower in entire Belgium, and that is why it became a monument around the 1980s to be preserved. Fun fact, the mine stood a long time empty. The reason because of that is not because they wanted to keep the entire mine intact, but because the owner of the mine who bought it, he was supposed to scrap it, but he didn't. He wanted to preserve it as full as possible. So the mine had been demolished about 50%, but the other half stayed for a long time. He passed away in 2012, and then the mine got back to the province and they continued the demolition. So for those of you wondering why Hasard Cheratte stayed up for as long as it did. You can kinda see how the mine works at this point. The engine on top, which is electric, will turn a large wheel which has a flat cable attached to it. This is the large amount of cable you will see in this video at this point. This cable would pull the elevator up and down. I also want to point out a lot of pigeons live here. You can see some in this video, despite the fact that this isn't an ideal place for pigeons. Many seem to have also died thanks to the large amount of grease that is still everywhere, which I can imagine to be poisonous for them. I mean, just look at how many feathers are stuck to the wheels up in the mine at the time of making this video, or just all around this place. The grease gives off a real industrial smell. Personally, I like it. Hence I took a bit from my model railway, and that is not a joke. I really did it. I am making a mine on my model railway and I would like to emulate the smell. That might be a bit of my autistic side. Anyway, it even used to smell a lot heavier before they started to clean up the place. When I made this video, most of the smell was gone already. It's only up here that it was really noticeable. I remember my first time I got on the site, you could really smell a lot of the coal, the grease and the oils all around. It gave a very nostalgic and industrial smell. And yeah, just in general, a very nostalgic feel on the site. Sadly, that is, for now, a lot less. You can also clearly see that the mine, the engine is actually electric driven. You can see these big spools, I suppose you call them, made of copper, which probably propel the engine in a turning motion. It's quite interesting and pretty to see. at the back here, you can clearly see what I call the entrance to the mine on the ground floor. I haven't been able to get into this one. I do see there is a hole there. I did not think I was big enough to go through it, but apparently this is how people enter this part. I didn't know it at the time. But anyway, this goes on for a few meters before it reaches water level, and from that point on you're not able to get further into the mine. This probably means that it does indeed go all the way down, even though that's interesting. What you also can see, or you also have seen at that point, is the stone at the bottom of the shaft. This was originally where the elevator would go in. It's very common to have a sort of tomb at the bottom of a mine shaft to memorize what it was, how deep it was, for in case it got demolished, or in this case became a monument. This was the generator room. A long time ago, around the end 1970s, this room was full of electric power generators. A little fun fact, Hasard Cheratte was the very first electric coal mine in Belgium. Matter of fact, Hasard Cheratte never had steam-powered mine shafts. And this is quite a unique one, because almost every mine had steam-powered mine shafts. But Hasard Cheratte was the very first that had fully electrical mine shafts. Sadly, you can't see much of the old generators in this room. You can only see where they once stood, with big holes in the ground and a shitload of graffiti on the wall. This is the room where the workers were charging up their old headlamps. In the time the mine was active, they already had electric headlamps and they had to get charged up after every shift, and that happened in this room. A lot of the stances are still there where the lamps would be charged up. There also would be mouth coverings here and other tools required to go down the mine. Well, there isn't anything left at this point. Pretty much everybody looted everything that was here. You can still see the racks, but that's it at this point. Which is a pity, but really understandable, considering it probably would have been thrown away anyways. I just wished I could have had one for myself though. but don't say that out loud. This room here was the so-called Lamppist. This is where the lamps of the mine workers would get fixed if they were broken. We have just seen where they charged up these electronic lamps, and here they were fixed and handed out to the workers before going down the mine. This main hall was used both for picking up the lamps before going down the mine, but also for the paychecks and to clock in and clock out of the workplace. There is a board at the end of this room which used to have the punch card still in it from the mine workers. As you can see, it is a very beautiful room. Sadly it has been covered up right now because the first time I came here it was pretty much in the open and there were even trees growing inside. Not anymore. Sadly, that day when I came back, I realized I forgot a room. Underneath the old wing, there was a hallway, which was reserved for the mine workers' shoes. It even had a small shoe workshop there, which was being used to repair the shoes if they were broken. I actually wanted to take a shoe along as a souvenir at some point. Sadly, the moment I returned, during not with this video, but before, well, they all have been thrown away. So sadly I was not able to salvage one of the shoes. Anyway, because I did not record that on this video, I will now show you a crummy ass clip show of the times I did actually visit the room and took some pictures. Here we are about to enter the office area of Hasard Cheratte. This is in the newer wing, the first floor. It's very recognizable as an office because obviously the wall tiling looks a lot more pretty than on the other places. They actually have colors here. Even the walls have been painted in a color. And if you look at the windows, you can even see that they used to have sun blindings there. Some of them are still hanging today. Well, I'm not sure if they're today, but we're back in 2019 at least. I can only imagine that they used to have an office here where they would do the planning of the mining, but also do the administration, how much coal they got, how much they were selling. Another interesting thing about this office area is the only place in this entire building that has its own toilet, or it used to have them. Apparently they all the toilet bowls are broken. Well, there's more broken in this room. There's also the very first place in this entire mining complex where the floor collapsed thanks to a piece of the roof falling down. Which is quite interesting. Everywhere it's quite safe, but this is the only place where apparently the floor was slightly unstable at some point, or the force was just big enough to create a huge hole. We are now entering the main showers and dress room for the normal mine workers. Another fun fact here is that normally in mines, the mine workers would have to shower together in big group showers, and they would clean each other off. In Hasard Cheratte, on the other hand, this wasn't the case. They had separate showers, which is quite luxurious for a coal mine, and especially in this day and age. You just heard the singing of the mosque outside of the complex. The first time I got here, I didn't realize there was a mosque outside. And, well, the singing kind of creeped me out, to be fair. It was quite haunting, especially in such an abandoned place. I hope I did not offend everyone, but it's just what it is when you hear it in such an echoey voice. Now, what I'm going to do here, I do not recommend for anyone. I am actually entering the mine here, or at least a part of it, the underground part. This part was opened up and I wanted to enter it to see how far it goes. I actually went in it before. The problem is it's very dusty. You see, it's a one-way shaft, I believe, but it is very dusty. I do think this is connected to the air shaft, which is settled on top of the hill. People who have been there will probably know the Bellevue. There is also a part down the mine shaft that somebody put up a rope, so somebody walked down there. I do think it just goes to the bottom layer, which we have seen before, the bottom mine shaft, which really goes all the way down. I'm not sure. I did not climb down it this time. It was way too dark. As you can see, the video is very unclear, and I added some pictures to hopefully clear up how it looks. And so I am exiting the mine. I think this is the very last time I will visit this place. At this point, the Lampistery and the main hall, which we walked through before, are being renovated. I assume everything has been demolished, which should be gone from interior, which is not going to be preserved. I don't know, but I also think they might have more security. I might be wrong. I mean, at the time I made this video, I was also expecting not to be able to get in. Apparently I could. And I'm kinda glad I did. For a very last time, look at the mine. You know, how it was around 2019. After the start of demolition, but still mostly intact. And, well, it already changed a lot at this point, but I wanted to have an overview of how it looked back then, before, you know, it's impossible to look at it again. And sadly, at this point, yeah, I have double feelings about the renovations and the plans. It does look nice. I wish they kept shaft 3 up, which is the big concrete one which has been demolished. I wish they tried to keep more stuff, but I guess they simply didn't have the money. I mean, Belgium isn't the richest place in the world, precisely, which also gives it its beauty. All these abandoned buildings and just these not very well maintained places, I don't know, it just has something special about them. Well, from this point on, I will slowly walk out of the mine and walk up the hill, which has been the original and only pathway into the mine for a long time. Well, that's a lie. Some people got through the front gate when the old owner was alive, but that's very rare. I guess they had to contact him first for that, which obviously, when 2012 ended, it was impossible. Well, anyway, if you guys like this video, please like, comment and subscribe as always. I will post some more urbex video, but these two from this week and last week were the ones that I still had on my laptop, so to speak. They were never meant to be uploaded, but now I'm still uploading them, editing them. This one also included a lot less music than normally. I did like the sounds I heard on the background, and I did wonder what other people might hear in between. Uh, so please tell me down below, do you like it with music or without? Because if it's more preferable with less or no music at all, then I obviously don't have to edit in all the music. Anyway, please like, comment and subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you next time.